5 years ago, I decided that I want to become a raw vegan. And back then, I remember I was so harsh on myself. I wanted to be this perfect version of a raw vegan right away. And since then, I would say I've come pretty far away. I've learned a lot. I've experienced a lot. And I would like to kind of make this video for my younger self that just got started and tell her 10 things that I wish I had known back then, and maybe some of these things will help you. And the first one is move slowly. You don't have to figure it all out at once. You don't have to be this perfect version right now. You can take it step by step. Give yourself as much time as you need. And whenever you're thinking about giving up and just going back to the way you ate before, just remember why you started in the first place. Remind yourself every single day why it is. And for me back then, there were a couple of reasons. One was that I was just tired of feeling heavy, of being overweight or being in an overweight body. But also just generally, I wanted to experience like the best level of physical health. But I had times where I wasn't even sure why I was doing it. I was just doing it out of blind principle because others were doing it and I wanted to be like them. So I would tell my younger self, if I could, that it's really important that you have a strong why, you remind yourself every day, and that you can start step by step. You don't have to transition to a fully raw vegan diet right away. It's okay to start with breakfast and have fruit for breakfast every day, and then keep the other meals the same. And, take it one meal at a time. And even if the last day of your life you won't be fully raw in a way where you don't have any cooked food anymore, that's still all right too, if you always do your best. The second thing I would tell her is to find long-term raw vegans or high raw vegans as examples and immerse yourself in their content, in their courses, maybe even get mentoring from them, which is what I eventually did like 3 years later. But in the beginning, I tried to figure it out pretty much all by myself. And I was taking a lot of advice online and offline from people who weren't where I wanted to be. So, and who maybe haven't been doing it long term yet. I think that's really the key, the long term. Like for me later on, I then found Chris Candle, I found Freely the Banana Girl, Dr. Douglas Graham, and his book, The 80-10-10 Diet. But really finding them online and getting mentoring was what really shifted things for me. I'm not going to name names here, but if you take advice from people who, for example, aren't vegan right now anymore, which is what I did back then it's just gonna be challenging to stick with the diet. And by immersing myself in the knowledge of these long-termers, it was almost like a North Star or like a lighthouse where I knew, okay, this is where I'm going. It was like a roadmap. I had like a clear goal and a vision, and I also knew this is what I can accomplish if I stick to it. Again, circling back to always remembering your why. The third one I would tell her is that low-fat, low-sodium cooked foods are your friends, especially in the beginning, in the transition, because when you're still learning and figuring out all these things, I think it can be very helpful to go fully raw for, a certain period of time, just to know the benefits of this lifestyle, to again know your why, know what it can feel like to eat this way. But then, there are so many things you need to learn, especially if you're like in a subtropical or colder climate. If you're in a tropical climate, which is where I got started, it's pretty easy because there is literally so much ripe, sweet fruit available everywhere. It's quite cheap. But if you're like me and your main location is something like Germany, which is right now, then you need to learn a little bit more about where to find the best fruit, how much to buy, how to ripen it, how to store it, how to combine it, how to eat it. There are so many. I haven't probably even touched a millionth thing of how much you need to learn. Not to overwhelm you, because it's fun learning and growing and evolving, and making these mistakes. And the light at the end of the tunnel is so freaking bright that it's worth it all the way, for sure. But don't shy away from, having simple, very, very simple cooked meals that you enjoy, that satiate you. And again, sticking sort of to low fat, so you can still continue eating the fruit, and to low sodium as well, so that you're not getting addicted. Finding delicious meals. If you want some recipes that have really helped me with my transition, then definitely make sure. And again, I wouldn't view myself as someone who is fully transitioned, and right now I'm feeling like it's not my path to be like 100% raw vegan all year round, even though I have fully raw periods. But yeah, if you want some transition meals, check out the Flat Tummy Feast cookbook. These recipes have not only helped me release weight and, stick with this diet, but also my clients, which, yeah, is really, really cool. So the fourth one I would tell my younger self is, this is probably the most important one. Your self-worth is not defined by whether you eat fully raw or not. It's not. Your self-worth doesn't have anything to do with that. You are perfect, you are whole, you are complete, and if you eat cooked food, you're still whole, perfect, and complete. It's just you've eaten cooked food. So to kind of detach myself from this idea of like, okay, this is good and this is bad, this is good food, this is bad food, and instead going over to, okay, how does this make me feel? Okay, this is how it makes me feel. Do I want to feel like that? No, I don't want to feel like that. Okay, then next time I might still do it again. I might still go back to cooked food, but it's okay. And at one point I'm gonna have had enough, so to really not identify myself so much with how I eat. And then the fifth one, not 10th one, fifth one is instead of trying to save money on food, find ways to make more money. And nowadays we live in a world where there are abundant opportunities to, make money. But I think it's so important to know that we deserve to spend money on our nutrition. And what has happened for me is that when I started fueling up on fruit, that making money became a lot easier, because I'm so sharp in my head, I have so much energy, and all these things enabled me to scale my income. So instead of trying to save here and trying to save there and buy the cheapest fruit and not buy as much as I would like to and not buy the things I would like to, prioritize, make money. And that doesn't mean you have to throw out money the window. And also, I would say, like in the beginning period, especially if, my body used to be heavier than it is now. So the heavier you are, the more calories you need, even if you are looking to lose body fat, because when we're lighter, our body just needs less calories for walking and running, because it has less weight to carry around. Just imagine walking with like a 10-kilo backpack in the forest. Is going to be more exhausting than if you don't have that backpack. But is it also much more fun to walk without that backpack? Like, I love hiking without anything. I have like a friend in the mountains. He has like a house there, and when I'm there, we go hiking like for, 5 or 6 hours every day, and we don't bring anything. When we come back, and before we obviously fuel up, but then for that long hike, we don't have anything. And then in the German Alps, there is like springs everywhere, so you don't have to bring any water. And that's how I look and view weight loss. Like, if you want to feel lighter, then or if you feel lighter, then everything becomes much easier. So, but the thing is, you're gonna eat more calories, and you're probably gonna waste a little bit more food in the very beginning because you haven't really figured out yet your system, and maybe you're gonna buy food that just isn't good. And I would always recommend, if you want to be successful in this lifestyle, to only eat like super delicious fruit. If it doesn't taste good, to not eat it. And then the longer you've been on this lifestyle, now I pretty much don't throw out anything. Like very rarely I throw something out because I bought something that wasn't good, or I opened it when it was unripe. But it happens so rarely because I have the experience. So now I'm spending less money because of that, but then also because I'm just generally, I need a little bit less calories than I used to need back then. So yeah, that's just very important to note, that it's not always going to stay like that. And you're also eventually with time going to save in so many other areas, not just in terms of money, but also in terms of time. I rarely go to the doctor, and when I do, I'm always surprised. Like, it takes so much time getting there, waiting till it's your turn, having the appointment, going back home. It's a lot of time that I'm saving as well. And then also, with deodorant and shampoo and so many products I no longer need because of the lifestyle. The other one is to always focus on high quality fruits and vegetables. If you want to succeed with this lifestyle, you gotta find high quality stuff, because if you eat low quality stuff that doesn't taste good, and if it tastes worse than a lot of your old time favorites, then you're not going to be able to stick to this diet. So especially in the beginning, when you're still getting your microbiome used to eating more fruits and vegetables, you want to make it highly desirable to do that by finding super high quality fruits and vegetables. And again, it's a skill that will require time. That's why really I wish I had not put so much pressure on myself in the very beginning to eat fully raw right away. And then the 8th one is to treat this as a lifestyle and not as a temporary diet, not as a quick fix, but something that I want to do long term for the rest of my life. Because if we do something short term, or we do like a quick fix, then the results we're getting are not really going to be long lasting, and they're not going to have the depth that they would if we actually stick with something. Because real success does not happen overnight. It happens by doing an incredible job for a long period of time, going the extra mile every single day. And that doesn't mean that it has to be hard. And that also brings me to the next one, and that is, be authentic. Do what you love. Don't listen to so many different conflicting opinions online. Don't try and mimic other health gurus, or even just other raw vegans sharing about their lifestyle to the T. But modify everything you see. Take the best, leave the rest. Take the things that bring you joy, that excite you, and the rest, just let it go. You don't have to be like someone else. You can do your version of raw or high raw vegan. And that's also where I've come to the realization that right now it's not my path to be 100% raw. So for me, it has been such a relief to know, hey, I can do what I feel absolutely my best with, what I feel excited with, and not have this thought of, I have to do this, I need to do this. It's not supposed to feel like a drag. And something I'm always remembering is to really a sentence or a quote from Dr. Douglas Graham, one of my mentors, eat the foods you love and enjoy the most, that love you back just as much. Of course, we don't want to go back to things that make us feel bad, because then life just isn't as effortless, as much fun anymore. But we also don't want to eat and force ourselves to eat healthy, because eating is still an amazing experience, an amazing thing we can do on this planet. I think we've been given taste buds for a reason, and the ability to eat food for fuel. Just imagine how boring it would be if we had like if we literally would be like a car and we would have like an oil tank, and that would be how we would get our fuel. Just imagine how boring that would be. That's not how eating is supposed to feel. So get excited, do what you love. And then the last one is go to Fruit Festival ASAP, because that is just completely going to change and shift your perspective on this lifestyle. Just being surrounded, first of all, by people who have been successfully doing this long term, but then also seeing that you're not a weirdo. You're not this lonely person that is the only one who eats raw fruits and vegetables, but there are so many other people doing this as well, thriving on it, having a good time. And also, I feel like there's something magical about coming together, I don't know, in a way collectively. There's like a synergy happening of all the energies of everyone. And I've definitely felt that, at fruit festivals, it's very different energetically than, on normal gatherings. I'm not saying it's better or worse. I don't judge it at all. But I've just felt that there was some sort of like veil lifted. I don't know. I don't want to sound woohoo or crazy, but that's just been my experience. But the main key takeaway for me from fruit festivals, and you don't have to go like every year, even just once. Like I feel like even if I had just gone to one fruit fest in my life, that would have already done the job of just seeing it's normal to eat raw fruits and vegetables, and raw fruits and vegetables only for, longer periods of time. And people are thriving on it. And yeah, so those are the 10 things. If you want to know the 33 benefits I've received from eating raw food, then make sure to check out this video. And again, if you want the Flat Tummy Feast cookbook, then check the link in the description box. Bye!